Well, we knew when Disney bought the rights to Star Wars and Lucasfilm for $4 billion, a couple of years ago, that they were going to make movies. But
did we know they were going to pump them out at such an alarming rate?
No, we did not know this.
If these movies were blood, the person would be dead.
So this is what's so surprising, because going back to the episode 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, and 3, Star Wars movies came out once every 3 years, almost like clockwork. 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. Or 3 years for the first sequel, 3 years. Episode 8 is already announced to come out, which is actually a really cool time for it to come out. It's going to come out on the 40th anniversary, just about almost to the day of the original Star Wars, May 2017.
Okay.
Is going to be episode 8. Only a year and a half.
I was going to say, when the fuck is episode 7 coming out?
This Christmas, 2015. Already. Oh, see, you're already like, wow, it's already this Christmas? What? It's 8, 9 months away?
Oh.
See, aren't you like shocked by that? You're like, what? But that's the whole point. The whole point is that it's only going to be a year and a half between episode 7 and 8. It almost doesn't feel, I don't want to say it doesn't feel right, but holy shit. That's a really quick turnaround for a movie as effects laden, especially as Star Wars, which means they're already going to be filming almost back to back to get it done.
The only thing I can say is I believe the Lord of the Rings movies came out every 2 years.
No, they were every year, but they were shot simultaneously.
They were every year. Well, that's what I'm wondering. Okay, I thought it was every 2, but it was every year. So I'm wondering if these are just being shot simultaneously.
No, they're not, because they have different directors and writers for them. Yep.
That's right, they do.
So the episode you're trying to put the episode.
I'm trying to put a positive spin on this.
No, I think. Well, I'm actually glad they're getting different directors, because that worked out well for the first trilogy.
Sure, I just think that's really fast to be pumping them out.
That means that episode 8's already being written right now, and they're going to start shooting it later in the year. Already.
And then we get this Yoda fucking movie. And then we get Rogue One.
I didn't hear about a Yoda movie. I heard about Rogue One. What Yoda movie? What?
Look it up, wasn't it? I thought that was announced along with 7, was that they were going to do a movie based entirely on Yoda.
No,
because they said they were going to do. They said they were going to do the episodic movies and then other movies, including movies that were based on specific characters. I thought Yoda was one of them. I could be wrong.
The only thing announced right now is obviously, which you didn't realize since the trailer came out already, but episode 7 is going to be this December. And then episode 8 is going to be.
I watched that trailer. I know. Blocked that out.
May 2000. It's like May 25th or 26th, 2017 is episode 8, and then in between that, December of 2016 is going to be the first standalone Rogue One, which means it's being written right now, which means it'll probably be filmed later this year already. That's it just blows our mind. That's the way it's going to work going forward. Is that before one Star Wars film even comes out around the same time, another is going to already be filmed by a whole different cast, and crew. It's just that's the way it's going to be.
I guess when you think about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how that works, we're not really talking about a schedule that's any more crunched than that. I guess just when you think about the episodic movies, that would be like Avengers 1 and then Avengers 2 and then Avengers 3 being so close together.
But look at Marvel Studios now, more like that, how they the big Avengers movies and everything else in between.
So when I think about it more, it's less weird, but still
they're not going to be linked probably directly, which is better news.
Episode 7 and 8?
No, I mean the standalones versus 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Which basically means that you don't have to worry about the crunch as much. Cool. You can have different directors doing it. You can have them do their own standalone vision because, it's the galaxy's really big, obviously, and different stuff's going on. Truth
of the matter is, I don't much give a fuck about Star Wars, but
I do. I still think done well, it's great. It's not sci-fi; it's fantasy. People, I'm not gonna get in that argument, but it's great fantasy.
It's definitely not sci-fi.
Yeah, people don't understand. People call it sci-fi. Don't know what sci-fi is. Anyway, but it's just it's gonna be. So they announced who is going to be. So the director and writer is going to be Rian Johnson, who did Looper. He did that movie, which supposedly was pretty good.
Don't know.
That was the time travel one with Joseph Gordon.
No, I know what it is. I just me.
But he's known to be he's a solid director, and he has his own vision for stuff. So there you go. All right, you're going to do episode 8. So Abrams, you're just going to do the 1. You're not going to do all 3. Which I prefer that. I prefer versus getting one person logged down and having total control, or having a cohesive story laid out, but then having someone fresh and getting.
I loved seeing multiple takes on the Alien universe too.
See, you can't imagine having Ridley Scott do all of them.
No, and Ridley Scott's maybe my favorite, but I don't know that I would want him to do all three.
I'm actually more interested in these standalone movies because I think they'll be a little riskier. Supposedly, Rogue One might be like or maybe this is one, but they want to do like a heist Star Wars film. That could be very interesting. They can do maybe people always talk about like a mercenary or mercenaries film. That could be cool. They can do one about them actually that's one I did hear about. They're throwing around about one just about getting the Death Star plans. Like one movie just about them getting this, so they can go back in time. It doesn't have to all be in the same timeline as 7, 8, 9. That's cool.
I would actually probably watch that.
So you can have a movie set in the Old Republic, even though that's not canon anymore because Disney said it's not canon. But you can. It opens you up to a lot more that you can do versus when you hear Star Wars Episode 7, 8, 9, you kind of know there's going to be a Sith Lord, there's going to be a couple Jedi, there's going to be a space battle. And we know exactly how it's going to play out over the movies versus, all right, this is going to be a heist film, or this is going to be a one-off mercenary film.
This one's a musical.
Okay, well, we already had that with the Star Wars Christmas special. That
True,
was
we did.
But you see what I mean? It gives you more options. So while Disney can always make the huge amount of monies, there will be a huge amount of monies off 7, 8, 9, and you kind of know, okay, we kind of know that 7, 8, 9 is going to be a self-contained story splayed out. Now, though, we can do whatever the hell we want here. And even if they screw up on these standalones, it doesn't affect that main saga. Right. So they kind of have their cake and eat it, too, which is smart. I'm just surprised, again, that we're going to have three Star Wars movies within a year and a half. That's just I still can wrap my head around that.
Like I said, it blew my mind until I realized that we have how many Marvel movies in a year and a half?
Well, 3, usually.
Yeah. So, I mean...
But they've established that, though, versus... Star Wars, but it's Disney.
Well, but I mean, we're talking completely changed hands. We're under Disney now. It makes sense for them to put it on the same sort of schedule as they do everything else.